Why is it so hard to have a calm, honest conversation, especially when we disagree? Whether it's someone on the road or a voice in your head, this one's for you.
Hey, this is Francisca, and this is my mid-crisis life, and this is this week's installment of Monday Mindset. So, yesterday I was talking about this slight disagreement that I had with a cyclist, and this idea of kind of like consideration, and how it's really difficult, I think, nowadays for people to have like an open level of discourse, to be able to debate things, to be able to have disagreement, and how important I think that is for society to be able to move forward, right? So I'm reading this book at the moment by this guy called Ray Dalio, and it's called Principles. It's a really interesting book. One of the things that he talks about in the way that he's worked his business, was a completely radical business model for the time, he spoke about something called thoughtful disagreement. And for me, thoughtful disagreement is that same kind of like open discourse, that same kind of ability to be able to debate and disagree and challenge one another in order to get to the truth. So it's like this kind of radical honesty in order to get to radical truth, and that there needs to be some level of, confidence and courage that comes with being able to say, listen, I disagree with you, but I'm going to have an open enough mind to be able to listen to what you have to say and to have this conversation, to have this debate, and see whether or not anything that you say changes my opinion, and whether or not anything that I say changes your opinion. And through that, can we come to something that's more of like a middle ground with one another? So Ray Dalio speaks about thoughtful disagreement and the need to be open-minded. And he speaks about how, we have these different competing parts of ourselves whenever we're faced with challenge. So, for example, if someone says something that you don't like, or calls you out for something, or picks up on something that maybe you don't want other people to see, or maybe that you're not being honest with yourself about how you behave, there's kind of like this natural tendency to just be reactive. And that kind of visceral emotional reaction that is really a defense mechanism, right? That comes from like this really, really deep place inside our brain, which is called our amygdala, which deals with all of our emotions, and it's in the temporal lobe. And it's doing something like that really unconsciously or subconsciously. And it's causing us to react to the things that are happening around us, particularly when we're in challenging situations. Now, Ray talks about the difference between the higher part of your brain and like the lower part of your brain. So really, I think it's about kind of like mind and heart, and your mind and heart constantly being in this kind of interplay, this battle, this dance with one another for who's going to take control at any one given time. So our emotions, our visceral body, our lower self might be reactive in that moment, but it's really actually quite short lived. This is something called emotional hijacking. So the emotions have hijacked our body and we can no longer think straight. So our higher level, our thought, our mindfulness, our cognition, our intellect, our intelligence, all those sorts of things are not working at that time. And he talks about this kind of like interplay and this battle between these two things, and suggests that maybe it's better when you're having debate for that higher level part of your mind to be working, because the lower level part of your mind, your amygdala, really actually is just responding to or is reacting to a stimulus from something that's in the past. So it usually is going to come down to, if people think that I'm this type of person, then they won't accept me, and then I won't belong to anything. Or they're going to think that I'm stupid, and then I won't get the value that I need, and then I'll be valueless. Or I don't know, it's going to mean that I can't be loved, or that I can't be safe, essentially, right? So I need to react to this because it doesn't feel safe for this person to challenge this thing. And this is often why we can't have intellectual debate about things and hold two opposing views in our minds at the same time and find out actually where the truth lies, through open discourse, through open dialogue. Ray Dalio suggests that it's better to be aware of what our lower level brain is doing, but allow our higher level brain, that intellect, that reasoning, that more analytical side of us to be able to take over. Now, I wonder actually, rather than letting that part of our brain lead us, I wonder, is it not better for your visceral body, for these kind of like lower level reactions, to be experienced and to be cured, to be healed, rather than to be avoided or, shut down or, I don't know, even like broken apart by our intellectual brain so that we can manage it, so that we can control it a little bit better? I think actually, is it not better for us to be able to go into these deeper parts of ourselves, these more reactive, impulsive, subconscious, feeling, emotion-based parts of ourselves, and heal that thing, so that at your core, you're not reactive, you're not impulsive. And through that, rather than having this constant interplay between the two of them, this battle between the two of them, actually create a greater level of cohesion, a greater level of integration between your higher level brain and your lower level brain, between your intellect and your visceral, your body, your emotions, your experience. And I wonder if that's not dissimilar to the same level of open dialogue, healthy discourse, thoughtful disagreement that I'm trying to encourage between us and other people. Because I think if we can start doing that within ourselves, between our head and our heart, then it allows us to be more radically open, more radically honest, and more radically truthful, and more open-minded in the moment. So if that sounds like something that's interesting, then come back tomorrow and we're going to do a little practice that's going to maybe help us to open that dialogue between head and heart. Okay, that's it.
What would change if your head and your heart actually listened to each other? Drop a comment and tell me. Are you more intellect or emotion when things get heated?